Hi team, Coach Alexa here. I'm going to do a series of videos over the next few weeks all about sleep. So sleep is hugely useful and entirely necessary for our overall health, well-being and longevity. In fact, if we are forced to stay awake for long enough, we will eventually just die because our brains can't manage any longer, and sleep deprivation can be a really pretty terrible experience on our brains and our bodies, so best to be avoided. Now, I'm going to spend a minute or two just talking through some overall health benefits of sleep, and then we'll touch on why it's so important for our training, kind of keying up as I go into detail in a few of future videos about what to do about it. So 3 areas of health to pick out on our brains. So our brains do basically a little kind of review exercise of everything that we've done, learnt, etc. during the day, and when we sleep that evening they write it to storage. So they take those short-term memories that we've made, experiences that we've had, and they write it into our more longer-term memory. So if, like me, you sometimes have those short-term memory glitches, a good night's sleep can really help. Our brain also does a bit of a clean-up exercise when we're sleeping. So it goes and clears out these little things called plaques that can build up in our brains and over time cause degeneration and damage. So sleep is incredibly important to help us brain health-wise. It also really helps our digestion. So when we're sleeping is a time that our digestion gets when we're not eating anything. So it's not having to do the work of digestion, and it's able, again, to do a little bit of a self-cleaning exercise. So it runs through a few different processes to help maintain our overall gut and digestive health, our microbiome, and mean that we can get the most out of the food that we're eating, absorb nutrients better, and our digestion just generally functions a bit better when we've been sleeping well. Another thing to, reference, there's, a big, data gathering exercise in a sense that happens twice a year across the world about the impact of an hour's more or less sleep on our heart health. And that is when the clocks go forward and back. So when the clocks go forward and we lose an hour's sleep, there's just under a 20% increase in the number of heart attacks over the following few days worldwide. And the opposite happens, but it's even more beneficial. So just what is beneficial, when the clocks go back, so we get an extra hour of sleep, we get slightly 20% fewer heart attacks in the few days afterwards. So that is how much of a big impact more sleep or less sleep has on your heart health. Now, having talked through those 3 things very briefly, it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise that sleep will also impact our training. So it's true, and you hopefully have picked up on this, and I say it a few times in these videos over the years, that we don't get stronger and fitter when we train. We get stronger and fitter when we allow our body the recovery and adaptation time after our training. And one of those key periods of time in our days for recovery and adaptation is when we sleep. That's why sleep's so important for little kids, because that's when they do all their growing and their processing, and growing is not a entirely dissimilar set of processes to recovery and building stronger and getting fitter as a response to our training. So we will get better results from our training if we prioritise sleep as part of our overall recovery programme. And it will mean as well that our brain is clearer. We may be able to push ourselves a little bit extra mentally and physically in our next workout and get more benefits out of that one. So sleep, high-level summary, that's in this video, kicking off this little mini-series, is super important. If you want to find out more, I will be doing a few more videos on this topic, just diving into basically a few more things about what you can do about it if you don't feel that you're getting enough. But if you wanted to really dive into the detail about the topic, there's a chap called Matthew Walker who's written a book called Why We Sleep. Talks about a lot of the science of why we sleep and why it's useful, and then what to do about it, or if you want to get some more. If you're a listening person rather than a reading person, he also has appeared on a few podcasts. So if you pop in your podcast app or platform Matthew Walker and the word sleep afterwards, you'll probably find a good few episodes. My favourite 2 are 2 slightly lengthy, but they've got breaks in them where you can pause and take a bit of a brain break, on the Feel Better, Live More podcast. So go and have a bit of a nose at those podcasts or his book if you want to find out more, and tune in over the next few weeks about a few more tips about how we can get more sleep in our lives in general and also around our training.